welcome back from Detroit. I'm Joel.
I'm Brad, and we are happy you're joining us.
That didn't sound happy.
I know it didn't.
Like that.
No, a little flat,
okay.
but really.
I won't speak for Brad. I'll speak for myself. I'm happy that you're here. All right.
And I'm happy you're happy.
All right. So, question for today: how do you, and by you I mean you, the marketer who is watching this, how do you know when you're ready to run an influencer campaign? So, what do you need to have up and running already? At what stage in your marketing process do you need to be? What kind of, like, where are you in the funnel in terms of like needing to, build out your funnel, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's the guiding question.
And frankly, we hear that question a lot. We get this question both from large established brands and from small companies that are growing. It's like, well, I love influencer. I know I need to do it. I hear that all the time, but how do I know if I'm ready?
Yeah, when's the right time to do it? So, to that end, we are going to do you, the marketers, and the internet at large a favor and give our take on it. And this actually, I actually think this is legitimate because it's born out of experience. Where this is a sweet spot that we have found for a company to start engaging influencers. Of course, it's never too late. Okay, Delta, Blue Origin, talking to you, never too late. But if you are interested in doing it, and particularly if you're a smaller company, what's the right point to get in? Because the fact of the matter is there are companies that have bad experiences in influencer marketing. They don't see what they want. And I think those who come into influencer marketing, I mean, look, there are certain products that shouldn't be there, but by and large, if you have a product that at all has a reasonable acquisition cost where you're willing to spend some money to get, and if you're capable of advertising on radio or TV, you're at that place, I think everybody can have influencers as part of their mix in a way that's really, really effective. But there is a timing issue. So that's what we want.
One caveat to say, particularly if you're talking about doing anything that's integrated into a video, which is really the heart of influencer marketing, is you have to be able to have scale. So if you could be huge and regional, and you're really not going to get the bang for the buck. So for instance, we live in the Midwest. Meijer is a huge, fantastic grocery chain. Billions and billions of dollars in revenue. Meijer is not a good candidate for influencer marketing, at least not on YouTube,
right?
Because you can't target one geography. So people who are watching a video, they're going to watch it around the world, and you simply can't shop at Meijer when you live in New York without hopping on a plane, and you're not going to do that for groceries. Sure. So the one caveat is
and that's true. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
You do need to be national or international in your ability to sell your product. So that said,
okay. So big question: how do you know you're ready for influencer marketing at scale? I would say the most important is make sure you have maxed out all. We're going to call it the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Because it's not. I mean, we thought about saying small stuff. It's not small stuff. This can actually be really, really significant, but it is low-hanging fruit. So Facebook does a really, really good job of partnering. I mean, because of course they've got, they know everything that you do on the internet. So Facebook does a really good job serving up ads and grabbing that person right when they're at the point of purchase.
And helping you to learn about your demo as well. So Facebook has a ton of tools which are fantastic.
Yep.
Like, I thought I was trying to sell the 40 to 50-year-old women, and no, I'm actually selling to their parents. That happens to be grandparents, right? So it's actually 60 to 70-year-old, and Facebook is going to be really good at helping you to learn that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's Facebook's. I was having a conversation with a CEO last week who, I asked him, like, what are you doing on Facebook? He's like, we're spending X amount of dollars on Facebook. Are you hitting the acquisition costs you want? Yeah. I'm like, well, then spend more, and spend more until your acquisition cost creeps up, where it doesn't make sense to spend any more money there. That's what you do.
Out.
Yeah, like max out your Facebook. Of course, SEO. Get your SEO game, because one of the things about doing an influencer campaign is this can be part of your SEO strategy, but you need to have that well understood, well built out, know who's coming to your site from where and why before you do an influencer campaign, because it's going to affect the kind of influencers that you choose to work with. Because to your point, when you're on Facebook, you're going to understand your demographic better, but you also, if you really have your SEO game down, then you're going to know why people are coming to your site.
Yeah.
And that's going to change who you. So it's really, really interesting the number of conversations we have where I'm like, hey, you've got this product. You know who's going to work great for you is this. And they're like, no. We actually know that is not who's buying our product. It's total counterintuitive that our buying audience is actually completely different. And like that's you're only going to learn that through your SEO.
For sure. It's important to just go ahead and keep trying things, right? Keep trial and error. We're big believers in that. Jumping ahead like 5 steps, but even when you decide to go into influencer marketing, I don't care how you're doing, if it's with YouTube or Snapchat or Instagram or bloggers, however you're getting into it, it's going to make sense to do it in a stepwise manner as opposed to going in with a big bang approach.
Yeah, totally agree. And then of course your SEM. So like you get that stuff done.
Yeah.
And then next thing you do, let's say you've got a product, start shipping your product to channels that you think would be a good fit, particularly the smaller ones. You can go big, and if it doesn't cost you much to do it, just start shipping stuff. Be like, hey, we like your channel. Here's a mattress. Here's a box of socks. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Just start shipping stuff.
Yep.
And insofar as you're going to have people get that, talk about it, and say, hey, thank you. Do that as long as you possibly can before you have to start paying for anything.
It's time consuming, but it's wonderfully low cost in that the cost is just about zero.
Right.
So keep doing it until you're not happy with your growth or your budget grows bigger, right? One of the two things has got to give.
Yep, for sure. Okay, so they've maxed out Facebook. They're spending all they can before their ROI that they're seeing from Facebook gets into untenable territory. Same for SEO, or same for SEM, right?
Yep.
So now they've decided, you know what, I need to do an influencer campaign. 2 questions. 1, is there anything else that they need to start considering before they launch into that? And then 2, how's the influencer strategy going to tie into everything that they've already been doing?
Sure. So I guess on the first part, and this goes with any marketing campaign that you're going to run, you really need to try to understand what are your objectives. So we really try to have a primary objective when we're running campaigns. So it's either going to be to drive sales, drive acquisition, and if you're going to try to do a test drive or something of the sort, that would count. We're going to put that into that bucket.
Some kind of action.
Exactly. And the second thing is branding. So what is your primary goal? And one thing that's fantastic about YouTube as a platform is it's both. It allows people to come in and be a substitute from television, because so many people are cutting the cord to TV and going to YouTube and other platforms. And then the second thing is everything is attributable. There's a clickable link inside of YouTube. So you have the flexibility of both, but it's really important to understand what is that primary objective, because that's going to impact a lot of what you're doing and how influencer marketing should be part of a broader strategy. Because to oversimplify things, there's really 3 phases that the consumer is going to be looking at. One is awareness, second is consideration, and the third is actually following through and making a purchase, or are they actually a customer at that stage? And depending on what you're trying to achieve and where you are in the life cycle as a as a company, or with a new particular product or service you're offering, that's going to significantly impact how you'd want to roll out a campaign. So really force yourself to have a primary goal. That's the first thing when it comes to an influencer strategy and what you need to be prepared to, what we need to be prepared for.
Yeah.
Other things you need to do are make sure you're optimized for what's about to happen. You're going to get a ton of traffic because this works. Make sure that you're both ready on the traditional desktop and on mobile. People are more and more comfortable with mobile reading this. That's something you should really expect. And make sure you're also prepared to roll out a retargeting campaign as well, because people are going to click through to your website, because if this is a first touch, they're going to learn. And we all know it takes 5 or 6 touches before someone's going to make a purchase in most cases, and make sure you can continue to retarget those individuals. So that's going to be really, really important that you're prepared there. And we love to encourage all of our clients to have a simple 1-question survey when someone does sign up for your product or service, to say, hey, where did you first hear about us? Because that's going to give you a great sense of why they're actually coming to you. And it's not going to be perfect, because stated behaviors are different than observed behaviors, but most people are going to be able to understand where they heard about a product. So there's a whole lot that you should be prepared for behind the scenes. Those are a few things. Other things that come to mind, or do we want to move forward?
But yeah, I mean, just the retargeting piece, particularly, I'm going to say Facebook, because what we've seen consistently,
Yes.
and I don't know if I know why this is yet. I've got some theories, but when your Facebook ROI is creeping up to where it's potentially crossing the threshold of your acceptable acquisition cost, what we find is that bam, slap your influencer on, and now that comes right back down.
Yep.
And what's happening, and we need to be understand this, because we've got campaigns where it's like, hey, on a direct response basis, my YouTube influencer campaign isn't working, but God, look at what just happened with my Facebook campaign.
Right.
And that's dropped way down. So like having whatever needs to be happening on your back end to have a really, really effective targeting, and get ready to potentially, if you're going to spend over here on YouTube, need to potentially spend more money on Facebook, to basically max that out again, because you could theoretically get a whole new tranche of potential customers that are going to come to you through the last touch of Facebook, and so be ready to spend there as well.
Yep, I think that's a really, really important part, is that we're not talking about changing anything to be a single platform strategy, but influencer is really one component of that. And I just want to, we're talking about a lot about influencer. Just when we talk about influencer, what we're talking about isn't using an influencer as part of an ad that your company is rolling out. We're not talking about paying for YouTube pre-roll. We're talking about allowing an influencer to talk about your product in a natural, authentic voice as part of their video, or really whatever the medium is. But I just want to make that point clear, because a lot of people hear influencer marketing and they're kind of stuck in this old way of thinking about influencer marketing, where it's just, hey, plop an influencer or someone of influence, maybe celebrity and influencer are synonymous in this poor use case.
Yeah.
And that's not influencer marketing. Like that is giving a brief brand blip, but it's not taking advantage of the trust and deep relationship that exists between an influencer and their audience. So that's the core of influencer marketing. I just want to make sure that's clear. If you've watched our series, you've heard that a lot. But if you're tuned in for the first time, one, welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
And two, now you know what influencer marketing is all about.
Yeah, so I would say, look, this is an incredibly powerful marketing method, channel, whatever your favorite terminology is, but just be ready for it. Because we hate to see companies come in and have a bad experience and say, well, it didn't work. Well, your attribution model sucks. You hadn't maxed out Facebook. I mean, like, there are lots of reasons why this can go wrong. So hopefully this has been at all helpful. Of course, if there are any questions, we're more than happy to give away free advice. If there are questions that you would like to see us address in this, more than happy to. Really appreciate you watching. You gonna do it?
Let's do it. Thanks for tuning in, and goodbye from Detroit.
So long. We'll see you next time.